Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. So today we're going to start with a little bit of Name That Movie. So there's two brothers, Jake and Elwood, and they get reunited after Jake gets out of prison, and they go on a mission to save the orphanage that they grew up in. This is the plot of The Blues Brothers. I don't think there was any spoilers in that. But the Blues Brothers is famous for one line. We're on a mission from God. And at one point throughout the movie, or at one point in the movie, they are driving in a car. They're being chased by the police. And one of the brothers says, "Don't worry. They're not going to catch us because we're on a mission from God." And so today we are in the second week of our Marriage Myths series, where we're taking some ideas about beliefs that we have in marriage that may actually impact our relationships, and then we're going to see how those might also apply to our faith. And today's myth that we are looking at is the God myth. And now don't hear me wrong, I'm not saying that God is a myth, but oftentimes in our lives, especially in our relationships, we have this belief that with God on our side, nothing bad will happen to us. And when we believe that inside of our marriages, and then they don't go exactly as planned, or the person that we love hurts us, or we hurt the person that we love, then things fracture because we had this false belief that nothing bad could happen to us because God is a part of our lives. But it's just not that simple. And often we believe that in our faith journey as well. With God on our side, I will always have the job I want. I will never have pain. I will always have as much money as I could possibly ever dream of. And that's also, it's a lie. And when we believe that, sometimes we get a little disappointed. See, God is a part of our relationships, and He should be at the center of our marriages, but God just doesn't stay at the center. We have to work to keep Him at the center, and sometimes we stray off, and sometimes we make really poor human decisions that aren't attributed to God. And so in our relationships, if we believe this myth that with God on our side, nothing bad will happen, sometimes we get really hurt in the process. And so unfortunately, the truth is, the stats are out there that marriages inside of the church, so Christian marriages, have a higher divorce rate. And it's often because a higher number of marriages within Christianity actually believe this myth, and then when it doesn't go quite as right, we call it quits. And I want to help us. I'm on a mission to help marriages not end in disaster. We have to shift our perception, and actually God gives us great pictures of what a relationship with somebody else, with Him at the center, looks like. One of my favorite verses that I lean on often is in Ecclesiastes 4:12. This is a famous verse that we use often in marriages, or at weddings, when we say a cord of 3 strands. Right? The verse actually, it says that one person may be overwhelmed, and 2 people can defend themselves. But a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. And so this is the assumption that we have 2 people with God in the middle, and oftentimes other versions talk about it as a braid. And so there's 2 people that are kind of braided with God in the center, and that makes a stronger braid. But if you know anything about braiding hair, it doesn't last forever. It falls out at some point, and so we have to constantly be managing that. And there are things that we can do to make it stronger, to make sure it stays together longer, but it's something that will start to come undone and fracture because the world happens. Stuff happens. And so in your marriage this week, and in your faith this week, examine some of the places that maybe you believe that with God on your side, nothing bad can happen, and see where you can root some of that out. You can see where maybe you're off course a bit and get back to with a place where God is at the center of your life. Just like last week we talked about daily deciding, and then figure out a way that you can work that into your relationship. Talk about God, pray with each other, go to church together, serve together, and include God in your relationship.